Kia ora everyone, this is Genie, and we are the providers of Genius Pricing. Our team consists of me, Raymond Fing.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Matthew.
And today, we'll be presenting to you about Genie, a real-time quoting engine that utilizes the efficiencies of artificial intelligence that uses your past data and your past quotes and your past invoices to generate quotes for your new and future leads. When it comes to small to medium-sized businesses, there are three key issues that we see them often face. First is around the time of first contact, because the first contact where a prospective client requests a quote is a really, really important one. If a business fails to pick up the first call or fails to pick up the phone in time, then that business is really likely to lose that call and that client to another competitor who is able to actually reach them in time. Secondly is around the idea of lost revenue due to quoting inefficiencies, because we realize that humans do make mistakes. And when you're faced with the situation of having to provide a quote in real time, and sometimes when you don't have all of the costing information right in front of you, then you can easily have miscalculations and inefficiencies going on in your head. What this really matters when you've got a more This is especially true in industries where every single job might not be exactly the same. And the second key issue that we identified is the idea around lost revenue due to misquotes, because we realize that humans often do make mistakes. And when you're forced into a situation by a client where you're forced to provide a quote in real time or a quick estimate, sometimes without all of the necessary costing information in front of you, that can lead you to have miscalculations or to miss out on some of the key costs that you forgot or failed to consider. Something like this is often really true, especially for industries where every job might not be exactly the same and there are slight nuances across projects. Finally, we have around the idea of managing requests, because small business owners receive a lot of calls, a lot more than potentially they can handle, and especially during lockdown when a lot of the customer interactions shift into online forms where they're seeing messages through their text, messages through email, and then through Messenger. It's really hard to know which ones you said you'd get back to with a quote in a couple of days, and that means that they might actually be looking elsewhere as well.
Our solution consists of three aspects. Firstly, Genie responds in real time, which can automate calls and messages with customers as if it were a real person. Secondly, Genie is AI powered, which means it can learn from past invoice and conversation data to calculate an optimal quote for customers and businesses. Thirdly, Genie can easily integrate with current productivity software such as MYOB, Google Calendar, to help business owners manage their schedule and quote approving process. Now I would like to discuss our three key features. The first key feature is understanding human conversation. Genie integrates with existing messaging software such as Facebook Messenger to facilitate conversations with customers. Then Genie extracts key information from that conversation, such as job description, date, client name, etc., and will also ask follow-up questions to get any missing information. As you can see in the example conversation on the right for a small photography business, when enough information is gathered, it will make a request to the cloud with the provided information to calculate a quote for the job at hand. Our second key feature is Genie's ability to make informed decisions. Firstly, it learns from past financial data and invoices. Using this data, it calculates a price that will think it's best at maximizing profit and keeping the interest of the customer. All this will be processed and fetched from the AWS cloud in real time. Most importantly, it completely automates this process so business owners can focus on what they do best. Our third key feature is easy integration with a wide range of software. For example, Ambit and Google Duplex, which are voice assistants where you can program the inputs and outputs. It can work with MYOB and other accounting software to manage quotes and send them directly to your inbox for approval. Another way is to obtain data from forms and surveys. It can integrate with Google Calendars, then manage business schedules and check for availability when talking to a customer. I would now like to pass on to Raymond to explain the tech stack.
Our tech stack consists of 5 main layers. Firstly, we're going to be utilizing various different input options from duplex to ambit to HTML forms to get that user input in whatever format that we can find. Secondly, we're going to integrate this with MYOB and other accounting or business softwares so we can retrieve past quoting information. And then we move on to the crux of our program using TensorFlow and machine learning algorithms to actually process that past invoicing data to generate new quotes for new leads. Then we're going to be integrating with Google/other calendar APIs so that we can make sure that the quoted periods are actually feasible for the business. And then finally, we're going to be integrating it all in a MERN-stack dashboard launched on AWS Cloud where the owner of the business can actually manage all the quotations and see things happening in real time. Then comes our development approach, and what we'll do is build a prototype over the next week if we progress to the next stage, where we launch with access to the common inputs, for example, like HTML forms, and if we can manage it, conversational AI elements. We're going to be integrating this with invoice data exports in the form of CSVs from common accounting software, and then after that, over the next 4 months, we're going to be making work on our MVP, where we're going to try to integrate directly with business softwares and calendar tools. After that, we're going to be looking at additional integrations, integrating with more input formats and more tools, and then perfecting our machine learning algorithm to better our quoting engine. We're also planning to launch our product somewhere over this period of time when we've got some of the additional integrations happening. Finally, after all that's done, we'll be looking into future development, which means expanding our industry collection of useful data sets for invoicing. It means looking at expanding default questions to broader industry groups, looking at minor machine learning optimizations, and increasing adoption from other technology SaaS platforms beyond just the major big brands. I now pass it over to Alex to discuss our business plan and our current market.
The current market. With the emergence of AI technology, business owners are looking for easier and cheaper alternatives to human resources. However, a market gap exists where no products offer an automatic quoting service. Genie is aimed to gain a reasonable customer base and become the market leader in the automatic quoting field with our first mover advantage. Our pricing models consist of 3 plans: a startup model, a pro model, and an enterprise model. The price range is in line with how MYOB and other accounting softwares line their products. The pricing keeps minimum costs as low as possible for startups. Each tier increases as businesses grow with more premium features being offered. As a part of our marketing strategy, our short-term goal is to create a powerful impact upon launch through the use of advertising and marketing campaigns, thereby creating brand awareness. We allocated an advertising budget of $50,000 for the first year. In the longer term, we will aim to continue growing our paid subscriber base while maintaining brand awareness through continuous advertising, which we estimated to cost around $20,000 a year. We consider 3 matrices to measure the success of our business. The first indicator is a user count, which looks at the total number of sign-ups to give an idea of how effective our marketing campaigns has been. Our second indicator is the user retention percentage. If the use of Genie resulted in an observable increase in productivity, business owners are likely to subscribe to Genie after trial. The third indicator is the active subscribers count, which will show whether customers are satisfied with Genie services and application maintenance.
Then, considering our financial projections over the next couple of years, the key takeaways is that we'll be profitable by the end of the 3rd year, we would have paid back our initial loan in the 5th year, and by that time we would also be looking at $400,000 worth of turnover or more. Of course, this is all contingent on our underlying assumptions that most initial wages will be kept as low as possible, with the expectation that employees will be sharing in company equity, as is the case with many other startups. We'll also require capital raising efforts of approximately $200,000, and we also repay this at approximate interest rate of 10% per annum, in line with what banks are offering. Finally, we also projected our customer growth per quarter to be shown on the graph over there. This is also in line with other technology and financial service provider platforms that are new startups as well. By doing so, we can estimate income and expenses over the next couple of years, projecting our profitability over the next period of time. And that concludes our presentation for you today around Genie, the providers of genius pricing. Thank you.